the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Y'all hit that like button on your way in the building. Let your friends and family members know about the channel as well. All right, this stream is being powered by BetUS. Shout out to our sponsor, BetUS. BetUS is the #1 online sports book in which they are currently offering a 125% deposit match up to $2,500 on your first 3 deposits, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that means if you put $500 up, you'll have $1,250 to play with. BetUS has 24/7 customer service and 24-hour payouts. Click the top link in the description of the video to receive your bonus. All right. We are also giving away $125 in free play. So the first 5 people to DM their accounts to me, showing their account number on Twitter, will receive $25 in free play. Remember, the link is in the description of the video. Those odds haven't changed. The Miami Dolphins plus 175. If I put $100 on that, I win 175. So those are the odds for the Dolphins right now. Not a bad bet when you look at what the Bills are going through, the Patriots in the dirt. It's just those Jets. What are they going to be this year? We don't know, but you know what? I know that we'll definitely find out. All right. So if you want to place your bets, make sure you go do that, but use the promo code in the description so that you can take advantage of the historic bonus. All right. Shout out to Scant Dollar. Just dropped a donation on the channel. He says, "What's up, TD? I am reaching for saying we finessed Houston for all them picks, and 4 years later, their rebuild seems to be headed in a better direction than ours." Bro, that hit hard. Man. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you got to look at it that way because we ain't did nothing special. We just can't win in the big moments. We got a good team, y'all. We got a good team, but we can't win in the big moments. And in large part, I believe that has a lot to do with the quarterback position. We know that point is argued a lot. So, injuries, some people say, coaching, it's always elements. I just think there is truth to the fact that there's a combination of things. But even when there's a combination of things, the one position you need to be solid, despite no matter what the circumstance is the quarterback position. And that's why I'm always talking about it. I'm obsessed with the quarterback position. I recognize it's a team sport, but even with the team sport, that position has to play at a high level on a consistent basis, period, if you're even going to have a chance. Because I'm going to tell you now, if we didn't suffer injuries, we weren't winning no Super Bowl the way that position was playing. We weren't. If the coach, was a little better, we still weren't going to win no Super Bowl with the way that position was playing. That's how I look at it, man. So it is what it is. All right, listen, wide receiver Tyreek Hill playing final season for the Miami Dolphins? ? Waddle's contract danger. All right. What struck me to talk about this one today? I think it was the fact that I just saw a post online. Let me see if I could bring it up real quick. I just saw a post online. Let's see, come on, man. Where you at? It's coming up. Hold on. I got you. It's crazy. I don't know why it's not showing up and it should be. Anyway, I just saw a post online. Maybe I didn't send it and I thought I did, but it was talking about Devontae Smith's contract in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Eagles are closing in and trying to sign Devontae Smith on a extension. And people are curious, is it going to be more than AJ Brown's $25 million? And I'm going to tell you now, of course, that got my wheels spinning, that got my mind moving. But I'm going to tell you now, that situation is crazy. Because it's their time to get paid, just like it's Waddle's time to get paid. And if they do sign Devontae Smith for over $25 million a year, then Waddle's getting over $25 million a year. It's just how it works. If they end up signing this man for over $25 million a year, then Waddle's getting over $25 million a year. And if Waddle gets over $25 million a year, I went and looked at Tyreek's contract and I noticed something. Next year, they have an out on Tyreek. Next offseason, because let me tell you what's interesting. They never restructured Tyreek. We all assumed that the restructure was coming. I thought they would restructure Tyreek, but they didn't. They did kind of everybody but him. I think there's still room to restructure, but I don't know. How are they feeling about Tyreek Hill? Could the offseason issues, off field issues start to be catching up to where they're kind of like, we can't lock this guy in longer and longer. I don't know. Because next year, Tyreek is like a $36 million cap hit, in the year after 50-something million. Any restructure is going to be pushing him out to a massive, like it's going to be a raise. You're just adding years on that raise, giving them more guarantees, locking yourself in. And I don't know if they were willing to do that. Because next year, instead of going 36 million against the cap, if they designate him a post-June 1st cut, Tyreek Hill can be 11 million dead cap next year and 11 million dead cap the year after, but they save over 20 million each year. But then it's like you gave up so much draft capital just to rent this man for a few years. I mean, we all knew he was a rental. It was just a matter of how long we were going to rent. So I'm like, at least trade him. You know? So there's great reason to believe that this is his final season in Miami. Waddle's about to get paid, y'all. Waddle about to get the bag. And you cannot continue to be paying wide receivers like this when your quarterback is about to get paid. It's that simple. This one here, man, how do we work it out to keep as much as we can around our quarterback so that he can continue to be successful? If what he's done we want to call successful, I'll just put it like that. Ladies and gentlemen, we might draft the wide receiver in the first or second round this year. And if not, then we're going to draft the wide receiver next year, hands down, in the first round. It's that simple. And stop talking about Tyreek's drop passes. He ain't dropping passes no more than anybody else in the NFL. Tyreek ain't dropping passes more than anybody else in the NFL. Take your top 10 receivers in the NFL. He ain't dropping passes any more than they are. We just love to amplify it because every little drop that takes away from the quarterback, we love to amplify. Now, I understand your sentiment, Sam, but it's in the crucial moments, TD. Really? I remember 2 drops all season in crucial moments, and we love replaying those. The end zone went in over the middle of the field, which was a pass interference anyway, the one over the middle of the field. And my whole point is, without him, we wouldn't have crucial moments anyway. Without Tyreek Hill, you wouldn't have crucial moments anyway. Without Tyreek Hill, we win 7 games. I believe it. If I'm going to be generous, I'll say 8. If I'm generous, I'll say 8. If you think otherwise, you're highly misinformed, in my opinion. In my opinion. But it's interesting to me, nobody talked about the drops. And shout out to the homie Omnaron, spot on. Nobody talked about the drops in the playoffs versus the Bills 2 years ago when Skyler was the quarterback. Nobody talk about them drops. Waddle and Tyreek. You want to talk about big moments? Why nobody referenced those drops? Them drops that could have gave Skylar Thompson our first playoff win in a long time. We gonna like if that was Tua in that game, people would have been like, "Look at this pass, man! That could have been the game." Like Skylar had 3 or 4 passes in that game that would have won the game. Nobody talk about those. Nobody talk about them. Just saying. Just saying. Somebody says Skyler is invisible, period. Yeah, I get it. But I know Skyler has played better in the playoffs than another person. I know Skyler in the clutch playoff game played better than another guy. And that's a fact. Not even debated. Not even debatable. I know that much. Not even debatable. Is Skyler a better player? No. But I know in the big moment in the playoffs, Skyler came to play. Was he perfect? No, not at all. But he came to play. He did enough to help his team win that game. But we had some drops, right? But we don't really want to amplify that. Lancelot C said, here Gaseki claiming Burrow is his first great quarterback. Gaseki never claimed that. Okay, but what Gaseki did say is what Gaseki did say, let me go to it. Never been in a huddle with that kind of talent. You know, that's all Gaseki said. I just never been in a huddle with that kind of talent. People blow it up. It doesn't. Just Gaseki's comments don't need to be blown up. The real ones don't need to blow it up. So that's not blow it up, y'all. Here's why. Everybody and their mama know that Joe Burrow is better than certain quarterbacks. And y'all see I've been making pointed efforts to not say certain names, by the way. But Joe Burrow is hands down a better talent and better than certain quarterbacks. That's a fact. Nobody with common sense is debating that. Nobody. Yeah, you know, the lesser quarterback can have a better season per se here and there than a greater quarterback. That can happen. It happens all the time. But nobody in their right mind. Nobody believes that Joe Burrow is not better than certain quarterbacks. He's better than plenty quarterbacks in the NFL. Might even just throw it out there. He's better than 80%, 85, maybe even 90% of all quarterbacks in the NFL. Okay. So it's fair for Mike Gaseki to say, I've never been in a huddle with that kind of talent. See, if Gaseki gets in a huddle with Patrick Mahomes next year, he might can say the same thing again. So it ain't that big of a deal. It ain't that big of a deal. It's a fact. He's never been in a huddle with that kind of talent. Now, I know people want to take it to a punch on certain quarterbacks. Oh, he's saying that Burrow better than you or him. What's understood ain't got to be explained. I understand why people making it a dig and throwing it out there like, oh, look, because there's other people that try to inflate certain quarterbacks like they're actually great. They try to make everything, their whole life, their whole campaign is to make certain quarterbacks be perceived as great. They fight about it. But that's why they're fighting. See, you don't have to fight the truth. If someone said Patrick Mahomes is trash, nobody's going to fight. They're just going to look at you as straight. Is this the definition of stupidity? And they're going to be like, oh, okay. And keep it moving. The people you have to fight for and defend, you're doing that for a reason. Because it may be some truth to it. And you want to prove that, well, it may be true, but let me show you why it's not. No, you don't debate. You don't argue. So when you see people online trying to down Mike Gaseki and this and that and this, they have to retaliate for something like this. They're all emotionally driven and they're defending what they love. Even if what they love is inferior to whatever they're being compared to, it's nothing wrong with that. They're fanboys or fangirls. That's what they do. That's what you do. Like I always tell y'all this story. I am a Rajon Rondo fan. To this day, I will fight you and tell you why he's better than Chris Paul. Deep down, I know Chris Paul is a better basketball player, but Rondo was more effective. And I could argue with you and fight and all of that. Where's Chris Paul's championships? Rondo got 2, and he was intricate. He had, in my opinion, Rondo had a better career than Chris Paul, even though I know Chris Paul may be the better player. I am a Rajon Rondo fanboy, okay? So I understand. But at least I can admit that. So what that means to you all is, you don't really take what I say, as gospel. You understand that I have a vested interest that can skew how I view it, that can make me not believe delusion, but produce it. So it's okay. I understand the civil war out here about whether certain quarterbacks are good or not. I understand it. It's all good. So I'm not surprised by what Mike Gaseki said. It's a fact. Never been in a huddle with that kind of talent. He hasn't. What are we talking about, right? Oh, he's taking a dig on a certain quarterback. But it's the truth. Why do we have to think it's a dig? Why? Why do we have to think it's a dig? It's not. It's just a fact. It doesn't make Mac Jones or other quarterbacks, less than what they are. It's just that's Mike Gaseki's opinion, and his opinion technically a fact. I think we all know that. So I'm not making that a big deal, man. I get it though, because you see people out here, oh, I'm not going to listen to a guy who couldn't do this and who couldn't do that. Oh boy, they're just pouring out their emotions in their feelings. Just Gaseki, he didn't do. Oh my gosh, why y'all gotta attack Gaseki for being honest? Why? You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And even if Gaseki goes out this year and has 80 yards in all the games and only 3 catches, and he played every game and he was just the bum, that still don't change the fact that he ain't never been in a huddle with that kind of talent. It still won't change it. We'll see this year how he produces under Burrow versus other quarterbacks. That ain't proof. And I'm sure he's going to produce just fine, but that's not proof. That doesn't change the other quarterback is just better than many. It's what it is. It's okay. Man. Shout out to Tony McGee. Said, why is it always just Tua's fault? Like how? Like he didn't drop key passes? Well, first of all, it's not just all Tua's fault. It's never just been Tua's fault, except the Green Bay game. I'll never forgive him for that. But it's never, never just been Tua's fault. It is a team's game. Okay? It is a team game. And the team needs to operate at a high level overall to have the most success or biggest chance for success, right? So I don't want people to perceive it wrong and make it seem like it's all Tua's fault. But I try to operate smart, and efficient. Okay. So when we look at all the factors of why we lose, the coach is a factor, the quarterback is a factor, the drop passes in this game was a factor, the weaker protection was a factor, the blah, blah, blah was a factor, right? What I come to find out is if I improve the pass protection, that was one of the elements, that still ain't going to stop that bad throw that just happened. That's still not going to stop that drop pass that just happened. It's still not going to stop a lot of the factors. If I look at the drop passes, right? That still had nothing to do with some of those bad passes. It still had nothing to do with the fact that the coach may have called some bad plays, right? But then when I think about the coach factor, well, did he call bad plays? Because there were a lot of drop balls, and those were good plays that were called. They were just dropped. And, overall, it makes the coach look even worse. So there are a lot of factors, right? But when I look at the quarterback position, they control a lot of those bad passes. They can control the drops, especially if they're on the money. But most of the time, they're not 100% on the money. We just expect the guy to make a heroic catch. Like I always say with that Tyreek catch that was over his shoulder and Tyreek rerouted, one of the hardest catches ever, and he caught it. Same throw, but the opposite side of the field, and he didn't catch it. Those are the hardest catches, but we want to demonize Tyreek and say, oh, you got to catch that. No, you don't. I don't expect you to catch either, but you caught that one. Wow. But we don't look at it like that. We try to reverse that. I look at the quarterback most of the time as being able to control a lot more of his situation than a lot of the other positions at times. And the quarterback position may mess up more often than a lot of those other positions. Sometimes, the offensive line gave up a sack. Well, it was a clean pocket. Why didn't you step up to begin with? But we want to talk about the O-line. Now, is it sometimes that the O-line does bad? Yes. You might have 5 sacks in a game. 3 of them might be the O-line, but 2 of them, what are you doing, quarterback? You kind of created that on your own. We'll sit there and program our brain to say, yeah, but he's so used to getting hit that's why he moves. Stop. No. Do it consistently every time and let us be able to determine where the issue comes from. Don't second nature like, pressure has to be coming. No, your job is to read your pocket at all times, when it's coming and when it's not. So there's too many times that I find in these games that O-line screwed up 7 times. Wide receivers had 3 key drops. Mike McDaniel, that's like 5 bad plays that you had all game. But when I look at the quarterback, I'm looking at 11 to 15 situations where they could have been better. So it's not always the quarterback. But if you really want to win games, if your quarterback wipe out half of those errors and the other ones stay, you still got a better chance to win the game. If the other guys fix all 3 or 5 of their issues, you still got a hard time winning the game because the quarterback's 10 or 11 issues. So that's why a lot of people argue it's the most important position on the field, because when the team cooking, when everybody catching the ball and everybody blocking and the quarterback's making the throws, we only give the quarterback credit, or at least we give them 80% of it, and we glorify all they did in the game. We don't talk. See, when it's a clean day, we say, I got to give it up to the O-line. They played well today. But we don't talk about the details of who played well, why they played well. None of that stuff. It's a brush over. Then we get to the quarterback. Because the quarterback themselves, and here's another thing. Some quarterbacks, and I'm going to continue not to use names, some quarterbacks, there are times where we be like, did the O-line play bad today, people? No. Did the defense play bad? Man, they kept us in it. Were people dropping the ball over the plate? No. What happened? Man, and for some reason, we still gonna be like, well, McDaniel, he should have ran the ball more. And here's the funny part. When we should run the ball more, the plays are there to be made, but a player will mess it all up. And then we'll say, why are we throwing to begin with? We should have ran the ball more. Wait, hold on. On that throwing play, was he not open? On that throwing play, why did he throw that pick? On that throwing play, this guy wide open and he's staring down one guy. But since none of it worked out, why did we get away from the run? No, it's a good play called, but why didn't some people execute it? Because if we would have executed it, then we would have been like, excellent game call today, Mike McDaniel. We want to get mad at Mike McDaniel when a certain person don't execute what they supposed to. And then we want to love on just the quarterback and not Mike McDaniel when they do their job. Quarterback is the biggest factor. It's the biggest factor. It's the one position you can't make up for mistakes. I can have 3 drops and still win the game. I can have 5 sacks and still win the game. Burrow won a playoff game with 10 sacks or 11, something like that. If the quarterback is playing great football, I can still win a game with mistakes around me. Yeah, I'm still going to lose some, but I can still win some of those games with mistakes around me. Let's go to certain quarterbacks. So say you got a quarterback that's 0-6, 0-7, or 1-7 against playoff teams. And they're like undefeated almost, or like 9-1 or something like that against non-playoff teams, right? Say you got a quarterback like that, and you go look at all the games that they play against the playoff teams. And they play average at best. Mainly slightly below average, but average at best. And all the other teams they're sorry, they play great, right? If that quarterback against them good teams just played not great, but just above average or good, you ain't got to be great. Just play a little better. And it still wouldn't have been like, oh, he balled today, but he was solid. You know, he made some plays. Just do that. And last year, we got at least 2 more wins in the regular season. We win the division. We're still in the race. We might have even had a chance to win the conference. Just that alone. I'm not saying all 6 games. 2. Like 2 more games where you just played above average against good competition. You ain't had to be great. You could miss a few throws, throw a pick here and there, but you still had a little bit more consistency. Because in them games, the production was trash. And it ain't just because of a drop. It ain't just because of a drop. Oh, we're in key moments. It ain't just because of the drop. This is why it's a lot of times all on the quarterback. See, we also can't pick and choose when it is all about the quarterback and when it's not. Because you go look at the Chargers, what's the issue with that team? First thing come out people's mouth. Oh, Herbert, I told y'all Herbert may not just be as good as y'all thought he was. Oh, we go straight to Herbert. We go straight to the man who has more 28-plus point games than most quarterbacks in the NFL and still loses putting up 28 points. The man like almost averages 28 points in his losses and still lose games because the defense that they paid the most money to in the NFL 2 years ago is one of the worst in the NFL. One of the worst in the NFL. If we score 28 points a game, we'll win 14 games every year. We win 14 games every year. Week 1, didn't Herbert put up 33 points or some crap like that versus the Dolphins? Didn't he put up 31, 33 or something like that versus the Dolphins? But what happened on the backside of it? So you can't pick and choose when it's all the quarterback and when it's not. But I don't hear nobody. All I see is, oh, Herbert ain't did nothing. He ain't better now. Y'all thought he was better. He is. He has always been better. Always will be better. Nobody in their right mind debates that either. And better than some quarterbacks, by the way. Not all. Just saying certain quarterbacks. You choose which ones those are. Let's call it what it is, man. So it's going to always be the quarterback. Tony said, I know Joe Burrow has been hurt more than some quarterbacks. Joe Burrow has been hurt more than some quarterbacks. Yeah. The crazy part about that, though, is although he's been hurt more than some quarterbacks, the shame of it all is that he has already proven more than some of those same quarterbacks. And that's where the issue comes. You've been hurt more, but you've already proven more. You've already accomplished more. You've already went further. You've already done more. You've been in 3 levels of games that other quarterbacks have never been in. And you played well in the most part of them. The man I went to a Super Bowl. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not even a big fan of Jalen Hurts. I actually think certain quarterbacks is a little better than Jalen Hurts, but only because when he uses legs, it makes him better than certain quarterbacks. But overall, he ain't using his legs as much lately, so I think certain quarterbacks better than him. But look what Jalen Hurts has accomplished already. See, these are the parts that can't be disputed, that deep down a lot of people, it burns them and it hurts because there ain't no argument you can put. I've heard led the league in passing so much this whole season. Certain players led the league in passing. I done heard that so much. Like that's the claim to fame. Things that Jameis Winston's done and did, like, come on. Quarterbacks are judged in the postseason. There's 2 judgments of quarterbacks. The first judgment, who are you as a quarterback? In that first judgment, there's a lot of good quarterbacks, y'all. There's a lot of good quarterbacks. Believe it or not, there's 15 good quarterbacks in the league every year. 15. Of course, the 7th guy is better than the 15th, but there's 15 good quarterbacks in the NFL. There's another 10 that you're trying to find out about or seeing if you could re-spark their career. And there's 8 more that's I have no clue. Let's continue to find out. But there's 15 good quarterbacks every year. I think we get so caught up on as long as you got one of them 15, it's okay. No, it's not. No, it's not. And I think for the first time, because people like me are, see, let me say this, and I don't want to toot my own horn, but I need y'all to hear me very well. I'm not your typical content creator. I'm not just, I used to be, but I'm not just breaking news. Devontae Smith may be getting extended. Waddle's about to get a big payday. I'm so excited. We need to lock in our receiver for the future. I'll keep you guys posted. They were drafted in the same draft, blah, 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 blah. And I'm done. I'm not just here to make you feel good, give you the news, blah, blah, blah. I love thinking. I love diving deep, and it doesn't always be right, but there's a deeper element to this game that, unfortunately, no insult to anybody, but if you're not looking for that deeper level to try to find the perfect formula to winning, and there is no perfect formula to winning, but I will say this, if you're thinking in this thought process, you'll be right more than not, and you can start to understand the game better. Even though a lot of people, you don't know the game, that's fine. But I like intellectual think. I like to I'm not a one factor person. The main factor is the factor. No, there are sub factors that influence the main factor. And if you ignore the sub factor, you can be wrong all the time on the main. So what am I saying when I say all this craziness, right? I'm studying the game. I'm looking at the trends. I'm looking at precedent. I'm looking at who's been down this path. What caused their success? What caused their failure? They've been down this path, but it was a different outcome. What made it different? It was the same path. Oh, look at that element. That was the one element that they didn't have. I study all of that. And that's why this channel is for those people too, that the people that really dig the channel. I know a lot of y'all just hate on the channel, but there are people that really dig this channel because we're always thinking that way. We're thinking about the different factors, and one size don't fit all. Everybody else want to give you the one size fit all, and it all makes perfect sense because it's the norm, right? But then when it don't work out that way, in the NFL, all the norms never work out. And then you question it. Why is it the norm? Because it goes through seasons. It goes through periods. The NFL goes through periods of time. What worked in the early 2000s ain't even close to working anymore. It's different factors. You got to keep up with them and be ahead of them to understand what's going to happen, why it's going to happen, the possibilities. Not locking in on any, but what's stronger than the other. Possibilities over probabilities. And what I want to say right now, one of the main things that I've been studying for the last 4 to 5 years, and my theory of it is being proven more and more and more right, is that in today's era of the NFL, it's funny, I heard Colin Cowherd say it recently, I heard Nick Wright say it recently, the same people that, these guys are clowns, they're analytical and they think just like me. And our takes will sometimes be out of bounds, but we have data and things to support the out of bounds. And then when the out of bounds happen, it's like people can't take it. But we've been trying to tell you. So with that being said, here's the element of the NFL today. You got an elite of all elite guys, the top tier, top 5, like you're one of them dudes. And here's what's so complex about it. Being one of those dudes can come in different ways. Let me give you an example. Being one of those dudes is you're mobile. You don't have to be the greatest passer, but you're as solid as they come. You're at least top 15 in passing, but your mobility makes you a top 5 guy. And then you also have gamer in you, that instinct that in any given moment you could turn it on and do something spectacular. Those guys are the priority. Then you have the Burrows of the world. I'm great at pocket passing at the top 5 level in the NFL. I can process defenses, top 5 in the NFL. I have all the intangibles. I have the arm strength, top 10 in the NFL. I have the accuracy. I ain't got to be the most accurate, but I am accurate to where I'm top 10. You see what I mean? But they're not athletic. But they're more superior than the athletic guys at throwing the ball and reading defenses, throwing outside the numbers, arm strength. They're one of those dudes. In the last group of dudes, you may not be athletic, or you might be athletic. You may not be the best passer in the world, or you're one of the most accurate in the world, but you do have one or two or maybe even three flaws that doesn't make you superior, but you're on a rookie contract and you can get all the weapons in the world around you and a great defense around you. The defense gives you more opportunities and more cracks at it. The weapons around you, the run game takes stress off of you, and the wide receivers are so great that you get reliable, tight, like good coverage where even if you can't read defenses, nobody will really know because you're looking at open targets all day. You're looking at open targets all day. And that's because I'm on a rookie deal. I can look my best version. Those three guys are the only ones in today's era of football that are winning Super Bowls. That's it. Now, will we have an anomaly and a Baker Mayfield next year wins a Super Bowl with less talent around him because they gave him it could happen. But trust me when I tell you, it's going to be once out of every 10 to 15 times. And there were all kind of factors that allowed that, like, oh, the biggest competitor quarterback went down, the blah, 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 blah. That's what's winning Super Bowls in today's football. Y'all really think salary cap mattered back when quarterbacks were getting $12 million a year and we were like, whoa, he getting 12. You know, that other guy getting 5 and 6. Yo, my quarterback got 12 20 years ago. Salary cap didn't matter when the numbers were like that. The more that number gets stretched and the percentage goes one way, now it starts to actually be a true factor in spending money and how you spend it. Markets can get outrageous. We're talking about the salary cap is $250 right now, and quarterbacks are punching in contracts of $50 million per, right? That means when it gets to $300 million, quarterbacks will be punching out $60 million. But that ain't what's we're on the trajectory of. By the time the salary cap is $300 million, quarterbacks going to be punching 75, 71 or something. So it's outgrowing the pace. So miss me. Yeah, we understand inflation, but inflation ain't helping nobody at the grocery store, is it? So stop saying, well, TD, that's just how it works. It's just like inflation. Stop accepting it. Like, people make it seem like inflation is supposed to be this way. No, inflation is supposed to increase 2 to 3% every year. That has been the norm. That has been the acceptable norm. And when inflation goes from 2 to 3% to 10, 15, 20, 25%, we all out here, well, it's inflation. No. It's not inflation. It's a disaster. It's like approving inflation. Well, hey, I mean, it's normal. Okay, is it as it gets more and more normal and it keeps going up and you have less and less and less to spend at the grocery store, then you be online like everybody else. Look, y'all, all I bought was a chicken thigh, some green beans, and some rice. This used to cost me $8, and now I just paid $40 for these 3 things. You be one of them people online. And that's the same thing with NFL teams. Same thing with NFL teams. You start being able to afford, you used to go fishing all the time with your extra money. Now it's just work, pay bills, grocery store, and try to figure that out. Now you got to figure out cheat meals and this and that, and this to figure it out. Ain't no more chilling. Ain't no more blah, blah, blah. And then to the point where some people go broke, go homeless, blah, blah, blah. And in NFL terms, to the point where, all right, I get the point. I got to move on from this quarterback. And here's why I say we're a little deeper on this channel. We're a little deeper because we study it. Is this not what's happening with Kirk Cousins in Minnesota? Is this not what happened with Russell Wilson and with the Seahawks? The only quarterbacks you could study are the older ones that are still in the league, and they're proving it right now. Did that happen to Kirk Cousins? Did that happen to Russell Wilson? Is it looking like it's about to happen to Dak Prescott? Is it looking like it's about to happen to Dak Prescott? 2 years from now, if Jared Goff can't win a Super Bowl, he gonna be added on that list? 1 year, let's say 2 years from now, maybe one. If it don't happen to your boy over with the Rams, whatever his name is again, we gonna be saying the same thing about him. But don't be fooled. Don't be fooled, ladies and gentlemen, because sometimes it'll be a guy who signs a big contract, but his first or second year cap hit is so small because they push it to the back end. Don't be fooled and think, oh, see, you're wrong, TD. Look, he just won. Rare situation, and go look at his cap hit for that season. So I'm wrong. Remember I said it's 3 type of dudes. The elite of elite. I showed you the 3 type of dudes that's winning Super Bowls. There is a 4th. And he does get a big contract. But only in like the first 2 seasons of that contract does he have a chance. But those are your definitive window guys. 2-year window guys. So when you give Jalen Hurts the new contract, 1 year down, 1 more to go. When you give Josh Allen that big contract, you just finished the 2 years and you already see the regression of the team, the struggles they have. Now you're even unloading players. Let's see what happens. Because after that, it's over. After that, it is over. You're going to have to do something drastic. And the worst thing you can do, ladies and gentlemen, is think that you can go through this notion, well, we just need to rebuild around this guy making all that money every year. You already have the best version of the team you're ever going to have. What version can you rebuild around? Like make it make sense. You've afforded the most you could have ever afforded when they were making $10 million, $8 million a year. You loaded around them. Defense, offense, just loaded. What's this notion continue to build around them after they get paid? It'll never have that profit again. You'll never, you got to be 100% in the draft 3 years in a row, hit on every single one of them. And even then, you're going to be in trouble because you ain't going to be able to afford all them because you hit and you got to pay them now. The answers are all around you. And it's common sense. Tell me the lie I've told in the last 15 minutes in regards to this. Tell me what part of what I'm telling y'all right now ain't lining up exactly the way I'm saying it. Show me the quarterback who's operating outside of those 4 situations and having success. Out of 32 every year in the NFL, give me the one. I ain't asking for 2 or 3 to make my point. I'm going to ask you for one quarterback that's operating outside of that, that's having success. Please. Please, please, please. Anybody take a crack at it. Anybody take a crack at it. But we want to chase a path that has never been proven to garner success. Now, do we still have an opportunity this year? Yeah. When we extend certain players, we might even extend the opportunity because the first or second year won't be a great cap hit. So we're still in a window, y'all. We could still do something in the next 2 years. It's just that we're already starting to shed talent in the process. And do we have the right people to actually do it? And we always look at ourselves as fans and try to tell ourselves that we do. Have any of you all went and studied other rosters? Have you went and looked at the Browns roster position by position and just act like you're a fan for 10 minutes and evaluate that team and say, let me look at my team. Okay, we got the O-line. Yeah, we could maybe do better at that guard right there, but he's still solid, man. Better than a lot of these guys. We got the running back. Yeah, just as good as it comes, especially with the system. We got wide receiver weapons galore. We straight. We got the tight end, man, one of the better ones in the league. The defense is stacked. Maybe we could use some help over at the on the edge, or grab a player or two. But go look at every team in the NFL and treat it like that, and you might actually be shocked at how far the Miami Dolphins are behind other rosters. We just think that we loaded. We ain't even that loaded anymore. You know what makes us think we're loaded? I ain't gonna lie, it's two players that kind of changed the whole dynamic of this team that makes us feel loaded because we had success and we didn't know we were gonna have that level of success. A-Chain and Mostert. Take the run game away from Miami. What do we have? We be looking at this roster like all we are is a bunch of receivers. That's it. That's it. Ain't nothing glaring on this roster. But when you have your receivers and a good tandem at running back where you know that they can produce, it's like a whole different level of assurance to feel better, right? Them two players alone change our whole perception because that's how we think. But some teams are better overall because they got the O-line to go with it. They have, the tight end to go with it. Their quarterback is superior. Different factors. Every team is built different. Every team is built different. But we are the furthest away from loaded. We just feel loaded because we can say Tyreek, Waddle, Mostert, A-Chain. Wow. That gives us a sense of, yeah. That gives us a sense of, yeah. And people saying better secondary. Secondary ain't great. We got dogs up and down the field in our secondary. Ramsey is that dude. Okay. Javon Holland is just like some quarterbacks. In the big game, nowhere to be found. In the other games, phenomenal, and we see him and we loving it, and we let that overcloud yeah, we got that guy. Who else in our secondary? The guy that gave up the most touchdowns in the NFL? Well, TD, he can cover. There's a lot of corners that can cover, but they on rosters right now. See, that's another mistake we make. We think that, we got the best cover guy in free agency. There's 40 guys that you didn't get because they wasn't in free agency and they might be better. Not 40, but maybe 30 or something. We just think, we got one of the best ones that was available. Yeah, we ready. There are already cemented guys that the team prioritized and said, we got our guy. That's way better than Fuller. Let's get something straight. If Ramsey is a 10, what is Fuller? Put it in the chat. That's the context you got to use. If Ramsey is a 10, then what is Fuller? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Because a lot of teams lock down their 7s and 8s. A lot of teams lock down their 7s and 8s. So those are other teams that's better than us at the position. And just for the record, I see all y'all numbers. I'll give Fuller a 6 at best. I'll give Fuller a 6 at best. I know as a fan of the Miami Dolphins, we just want to say 7. We want to say 7. 6 at best. He can cover, but you can't be giving up points in this league. I'd rather a guy who's giving up instead of the touchdown. You can give up 4 passes in a row and a team can still punt. But you give up a touchdown? No, the man that gave up 9 last year or something like that. Come on. Nope, don't play. Fuller can be a 10 here. So he could be Jalen Ramsey here. Okay. All right. Then why we got see, it's stuff like when people say stuff like that, and I love my homie Billy, but it's stuff like that. Fuller can be a 10 here. Well, if Fuller can be a 10 here, then why did you go get Jalen Ramsey? Go get another Fuller and save some money, and let's let both of them be a 10 here. See? Oh man. But that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, people. So yeah, Joe Burrow was hurt 1 and 2, but he's proven more. Lance said, what are the difference between Tua and Joey B as quarterback? Both are immobile, true. As a QB, why do you favor Joe? I'll add in Purdy as well. Why is Tua ranked low? So I could do both quarterbacks for you. I kind of just did Joe Burrow. Okay. Joe Burrow is way better in my this comment makes it seem like it's at least close. He's way better. Okay. First of all, I know he has his rough starts early in the season. For some reason, that's just like him, just like Josh Allen. But he can do more. He can make every throw, especially outside the numbers. Let me ask you a question. Do you ever watch the Bengals games? How many times a game do you see Chase catching a simple 9-yard comeback route? Put in the dirt, turn around, ball outside, bam. Trying to make something happen or tip or out of bounds. How many times do you see that? How many times do you see that? You get at least 4-5 times a game. How many times you see Tua doing that? Because he can't throw outside the numbers. Joe can. It's a whole nother element of the game. Let me tell you why that's important. This is why throwing outside the numbers is important. Okay? That's the one play when you need a first down, it's a one-on-one. There ain't no safety help. There ain't no linebacker help that affects that one play. It is simply talent against the corner. Let my talent beat the corner. One-on-one, make the right throw, move the chains. I heard this the other day on a podcast and it resonated to me. What is the ultimate goal on every play? Does anybody know what the ultimate goal is on every play in football? What is the ultimate goal on every play in football? I want y'all to think about that. Somebody give me the answer in the chat. What's the goal? Some people already have the right mentality, but when you really think about it, the ultimate goal in football is to score on every play. The goal is to get in the end zone. The goal is to get in the end zone. But that's where people fail, trying to score on every play. Our offense is built to try to score on majority of our plays, right? Which is harder, to score on every play or just focus on the first down? Which is harder, scoring or focusing on the first down? The first down is easier. Scoring is harder, ladies and gentlemen. The easiest thing to do is focus on moving the chains. Win every play. And if you don't win every play, at least you get 3 of them. You get 3 plays to get 10 yards versus taking the approach of every play to get a touchdown. You'll have a lot more success winning 1 play out of those 3 to get the first down. Teams that throw outside the numbers take that mentality and that approach. The big play mentality, using all your shots for that, it can have success, but it doesn't get the job done at the end of the day. That's that Shanahan philosophy. Them big plays. You notice teams like Atlanta, the year they went to the Super Bowl, the teams like San Francisco, every time they go to the championship of the Super Bowl, and now the Dolphins. You notice those teams are so full of big plays after big plays after big plays. They do it all regular season, and it's a lot less in the playoffs. The team that's methodically eating you up slowly but surely down the field. Now, I ain't going to sit here and say, oh, well, why wouldn't we take it if we can get it? The problem is a lot of times you don't open up the entire playbook that will allow the methodic approach. So it causes stagnancy. It causes you not to be able to operate out of everything. And what I mean by that is, just like the Dolphins, we're so used to one thing and it working so much that when it's not working, we haven't even worked on the other things enough for us to be great or effective at it. We attack the middle of the field so much. We stretch the field so much. And then when teams take away the middle and take away the deep, we massively struggle in what they do give us, the outside. Like let's be honest, the outside always be there with those good teams because they're giving it to us. And the only plays that we execute well, y'all give me a second. Let me turn this off real quick. All right, got it. No, don't come back up. All right. So the only plays that we pretty much operate well outside the numbers are corner routes. Cover 2. The only plays that we operate outside are corner routes, and them take forever to get there. That's why even when they catch it, it's always a catch bang or a interception or you see what I'm saying? The only play that we really execute outside the numbers are those corner routes to Tyreek and Waddle. And it's floated up in the air and it's landing. And they're always typically waiting on it. That's it. No comeback, no curl, no out routes. Think about a route tree. I think a route tree has pretty much 9 routes in a route tree. Hold on. You got the flat, slant, curl, drag, post fly, corner, out, comeback. 9. Wait, did I say curl? Yeah. Okay. I think if 10, if I didn't say curl, if I already said curl, then it's 9. It is 9. It's 9. You got 9 routes. There's already 3 that we don't do. We don't do the out, comeback, curl. Those 3. We don't do those 3. Not enough. You already got 3 out of the 9 we don't do. And guess what? The other one that's outside the numbers, which is flat in the flat, we do, but we're poor at it. We always get these misfires, high, low, too far in front, or it took a long time to get there, and then they make the tackle. That's 4 routes that we just don't execute very well. No, we do the corner route. That's the only one we do. But a corner route allows, see, this is what y'all got to understand. A corner route against zone with weak arm strength, a corner route sometimes gives a weaker arm time for the ball to get there because a corner route on a cover 2 is the biggest gap. Think about it. In a zone coverage where the corner stays in his area over in the flat or over in the out route area, he back up a little, but he stays over there. And the safety is the only line of defense. That big old area right there is why we do run corner routes and we actually catch them. But it takes so long to get there that when we catch it, it's like bang, bang. Or the safety's all on it and they get an interception. Remember the Buffalo Bills interception to end the game? I believe that was a corner route. They tried to say, no, that was an out route. 15-yard out. Y'all think we running 15-yard outs with Tua's arm? It might have even been 20 or 25, but we ain't running over 15, 20, 25-yard outs. That was a corner route. Y'all just wanted it to be a route so you didn't have to blame him. He kind of rounded it. He ain't rounded. He was starting his corner, but then he saw the ball was underthrown, so it looked like he was rounding it to come back. Hey, you listen, Game Boy 305, you can call it what you want. The film will show you. We don't throw comeback routes. We don't throw curls. We don't throw out routes. Now, when I say we don't, you might get a rare one, and it probably don't have a great high level of success, but we don't throw these routes. And some of our biggest plays are the corner routes. We definitely throw the fly to go. Post, we do that all the time because we send one up the seam on the fly and then the post underneath coming under it. We do that all the time. We run the drag because that's over the middle. We run the slant. We do all of that. So I'm not reaching. Go watch the film. You'll see. You'll see the percentage of these routes that we throw to. No, we don't do it. Yeah, especially man coverage. Forget it. Anything man coverage outside the number other than a fly, forget it. Forget it. It ain't happening. And that's what Joe Burrow does. He gonna pick up that first down. 3rd and 8. You know where they going, but you can't scheme for it. It's one-on-one. And guess what? Even with great coverage, stop on the dime, the corner playing well, big body turnaround, ball right where it need to be, bam, and they drag first down. You need that in the NFL. 3rd and 8. You need that. That's what Chase and Burrow, they special at. When you really watch them. But Joe Burrow, he can also process the field. Joe Burrow can also take the pressure and make plays while getting pressure. While getting hit. He also learned how to take his checkdowns. Something Tua definitely need to be better at, because even with Tua limitations, if he just knows when to take his checkdowns on a more consistent basis, that alone could elevate this team a little better. And that's simple. He can fix that. I ain't think about that. That's something he can. He just got to stop getting fixated on staring at Tyreek, though. Oh, I mean, I just realized there's other routes too. Like you got like the wheel route and all that, but I don't never put that as part of the tree, you know. Yeah, I don't know why I'm just thinking that. You got things like the wheel, stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's not even close. Burrow can do all of those things. Burrow can also take command of the offense and like audible at the line of scrimmage. You've seen him do it multiple times in and out. You've seen him do it in and out. One thing I want to see Burrow to get a little better at, and I've seen him do it a little. I used to praise him for it, but then there's times I seen him on film or in the games where he neglected. He got to be more consistent in calling his protections. I see certain situations where he, like his first 2 years, I saw him pointing it out, like knowing where it's coming, communicating with the running back, all of that. And like the last 2 years, I've seen him do it, but there's times where, you see it coming, but he's let's go anyway. And I can see if you let's go anyway because you already got the counter, but he got to be consistent with that. And again, it's small sample size because he ain't been on the field as much. So I know he got it in him. I know he got it in him. CB83 said Devontae Parker caught a lot of comeback routes from Tua. He ate. You know what? That is the biggest lie you could ever speak on. Most of those were fly routes, or as you would call go routes, that were underthrown that looked like comebacks. And he had to go up and get it and high point it. And we want to call them comeback routes? Stop. He caught comeback routes with Tannehill. And by the way, I'm right. That just made me realize how wrong I was on something. Tua actually does something that nobody in the NFL does. Tua throws 30-plus yard comeback routes. I see 30-yard, 40 yards, 45-yard comeback routes. I didn't even know that was a route. But now he does. He always has. Nobody throws them better. He throws 45-yard comeback routes. Talk about stretching the field and using that tree. Yes. So take comeback routes out of that. Well, if we want to be more descriptive, the 5, 10, 15-yard comebacks, no. He don't do them. 25 plus, ain't nobody better in the NFL. Receivers be running sloppy routes on them, though. They be going. And they be looking at the ball. They be like, I'll slow down late. But they come back and get it. Tua put it right where only they could get it. Oh, the sad part is there's no lies to this. There's no lies. This man throw 45-yard comeback routes. They are like some people listening right now. They're like, what's the problem with that? I don't get what you're saying. Oh, man. Nobody else does them. Other people do them, but not like him. Ain't nobody better in the league. Other people throw 50-yard comeback route. See, other people throw 50, 55, 60-yard comeback routes, Nobody do it like Tua, though. Nobody do it as much and as consistent as Tua. Nobody. Ain't a soul in the league. Oh, man. Come on, man. Let's start being honest. Am I not being honest? Somebody said that's a schematic feature, not a Tua feature. Hey, Mike McDaniel coached him up. All right, Tua, we gonna hit the NFL with something new, baby. Oh, you gonna be the first one. You gonna be all right. Here's the game plan. Tyreek goes deep. Throw it as far as you can. About 4 seconds in the play. About 3 seconds. About 3 seconds in the play, throw as far as you can. That should end up being about 7 yards short. Tyreek is so fast, he can come back to it. Corner's like, oh, where are you going? Bro, you're going to have the highest passer rate. You're going to have the most yards this year. I promise you it's going to work like a genius. You can't defend it. This is the McDaniel offense, baby. It's that simple. That's all he did. He brought Tua in the lab, and he said, hey, man, stop trying to fight to get it over the top. We're going to take what you already do well and do it more. No, you ain't got to fight to get it over the top anymore, because fighting to get it over the top is guessing, because in order for you to get it over the top, you got to throw it right away so the receiver can meet it. but you don't have time to process the field and then throw it because you ain't got the arm strength to get it as far as the receiver will be by the time you do that. So here's what we're going to do. Don't worry about it. They're going to go deep. Tyreek going to get every defender out there racing towards him. And at the last minute, throw it deep, and he going to stop, come back. All of their momentum going to take him. And he going to catch the ball. And you're going to get yards. And your passer rating going to be high. And we're going to have you an MVP the candidate by week 12. Now, after that, man, hey, certain teams, it is what it is. That's what we do. Like, I want y'all to think about that, though. Every time he throws a deep ball in stride, he just throwing it early. Hike, look the safety off, heave it, bam. Long as Tyreek beat this guy, he gonna catch it in stride because I got rid of it quick. But if I have to hike the ball, look and make sure the safety ain't going over there, and then heave it, he gonna have to come back for it. Because that extra second to make sure the safety, that's why sometimes when he heave it, it gets intercepted. Y'all know those plays where the safety never bite it, he just go deep. Why did he throw it anyway? Why did he throw it? Y'all remember that one where the Patriots corner wasn't fooled at all? He looked to the right and he just heaved it deep, and the Patriots corner, the young guy just said, yeah, I knew you was going to do that. And he intercepted it. All the proof you need. That happens all the time. Every one or two is deep interceptions. They don't get manipulated by his eyes, and they just start bailing deep, and he throws it anyway because he knows in order for me to give it to this receiver to catch it in stride, I got to hike the ball 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, and it got to already be gone like clockwork. Any processing, I'm already too late. I'm going to underthrow it. Any of that. It's that simple. But it doesn't happen often because we only throw it deep when you got a single high. A lot of times we only want to throw the ball deep when we got a single high. He sees that single high. They know the play. Yeah, and McDaniel tells you, he said, yeah, if we get single high here, we know that we're going to take a shot. And when they get single high, they kind of inside get happy. All right. Hike, look right, and just heave it left. And it works often. It works often. CB83 said that's how you throw the deep ball. No, it's not. No, it's not. If the safety bails and in great position, you don't throw the deep ball because that's how you throw it. You read the defense to see if it's even going to be there. But I'll say this, keep throwing it. If you're going to get the safety to bite 8 out of 10 times, keep throwing it. I get it. Statistically, hey, ain't nothing wrong with it. We ain't got to be able to read the defense. Just look to the right, pull the safety over, heave it deep. One-on-one, Tyreek against a corner. We'll take that every time. That's what we do, ladies and gentlemen. And them 2 times the safety don't bite, we're going to tell Tyreek, if you see this situation, we need you to bail us out and go in there and try to knock it down. That's what it is. And what I'm telling you is the great quarterbacks, they don't do that. They hike the ball and they're trying to see what's going to be open versus let me manipulate and try to get it open. I don't know if it will, but I'm going to throw it anyway. That's a pre-scripted offense, an offense that has total disregard of the defense. It's just making assumptions of what should be happening. And any team that disguises it, they're going to burn you. They're going to burn you every time. CB83 said, you're not reading anything. Let it fly. Tyreek can beat the corner and the safety. He's that fast. Sometimes. I keep telling you, go back to, I think it was Jack Jones, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe, I think that's who it was. Maybe not, but I believe so. Just go back to his interception. As soon as the ball was hiked, the safety bailed right where Tua threw it. No need to process. Is that how we play football? Okay. It works more than it doesn't. So I get it. But we want to talk about elite. We want to talk about elite. And Tua does that a lot. It's that no-look pass that he keep talking, that people talk about, I perfect, and Mac McDaniel all up in camp. Bro, did you just throw that without looking? Oh, my gosh. All right, yeah, and they come back to haunt you in the playoffs with them picks. Them no-looks, them looking off and coming back the other way. Linebacker, like, why? You weren't supposed to be over there. You're supposed to follow my eyes. You were supposed to follow my eyes. What are you doing? You're making me look bad. Go back and watch that Green Bay game where he threw them 3 picks. Everybody want to talk about concussion. They pre-snap disguised everything they did, and they went right in them throwing lanes. And he looking one way and coming back firing the other without even processing, without looking at what the defense was doing. Just guessing. On one pick, he took the over and should have took the under, and they got him. And then they come back in the very next drive, and he says, a similar route concept. I'm gonna take the under instead of the over. One of the flip side, just guessing. Oh, they did that last time, so I'm gonna come back the other way because that's what they gave me. But they flipped it up. You're not processing. You're guessing. That's what this offense is built off of. It's not anticipation. It's where people should be based off of the pre-snap read. And pick a guy, let it fly. Not process the defense and pick a guy, let it fly. Just pick a guy, let it fly. You're getting a cover 2 look. This is the route that should be open on that play. That's where you want to go with the ball. And it does work more than it doesn't because most teams stay in that base. Most teams stay in their base defense. There ain't a lot of disguise coverage as you think in the NFL. There's not. Somebody said you're making assumptions. You're right. It's a really good assumption because the small sample size of evidence on the plays where he screwed up, don't we all ask ourselves, why did he even throw it? It was never anything there. You don't notice that? You don't notice that Tua usually don't have interceptions where, he threw behind him and it was picked. Sometimes he throw too high on that seam. You don't notice he never has the ball was batted up interceptions like normal quarterbacks. All his interceptions are like, bro, you can't do that. Why? But what? Why did you? What did you see? That was quadruple coverage. That was triple coverage. He was never open. So yes, I'm making an assumption. But the evidence when you go to test the hypothesis, all those bad plays you see, why in the heck did he do it? Why would he have ever thrown that ball? And I'm just going to keep on pointing out the one play where Jack Jones picked him off. Why did he throw that? Jack Jones was all over the whole time, and Jack Jones waited and went up for it. Like waited. He was so in position, he waited at the end of the play. Why did he ever throw it? If you can't answer that, leave me alone. If you can't answer that, leave me alone. Stop making excuses. That's all you're doing to cover. For what reason, I don't know. Because right now he working with a quarterback coach, and maybe he come out at that thing, that dude. Maybe. But like I said, if you can't explain to me a lot of them interceptions or why he threw it, please tell me. Y'all make excuses, the craziest excuses. I want to go back to that Trent Sherfield or whoever it was, how y'all tried to lie and say that was, Sherfield rounded his route. You know, it was a terrible route. It was an out route. Man, we don't run 15, 20-yard out routes. What is you talking about? You ain't never seen the Miami Dolphins run a 15-yard out route, 20-yard out route, however long that route was. It was up the field a little. 20, 25 yard. You ain't ever seen us run no 20, 25 yard out route outside the numbers. That was a corner route. And the only reason he started rounding it because he already saw the ball was being underthrown. He tried to come back underneath to it. And then once again, even if he would have threw the corner properly, the safety was all over it. Why did you throw it? Go watch those plays. Oh, it was Claypool, my bad. Whoever. Claypool. Out route. Oh, Claypool rounded the route. That was a terrible route. It was an out route. A 20, 25 yard. Please show me on film the 25 yard out route that Tua has thrown in 4 years. You gotta go. Claypool was literally what was he like? Was it outside the numbers? Out route? It will be really hard for you to go show me on film the 25-yard out route that the Miami Dolphins run. Crazy, man. We will make any excuse possible to try to deflect. It's crazy to me. But this is what we do. But Tua is working in the lab right now. He in that hyperbolic chain look like Goku. You know, you knock him down, he come back stronger. You know, you're going to touch that glass, blow it up, and he's going to come out. Super Saiyan 2, baby. We about to have that MVP season loading. Prove all you haters wrong. I'm sick of you haters. I'm sick of you two haters. I'm sick of y'all. Y'all make me sick. Oh, man. Shout out to Mr. Finisher. Salute to the homie CB83. He say, I love it here. Oh, man. Tua might win another championship with a reason, and the rest of EM Tuaneers in the CFL, it ain't happening in Miami. Let's be real. Listen, man, Tua can win a Super Bowl in the NFL. And if he does, that'll be a good look for people like Reason and EM or Tuaneers, whatever you want to call it, because they had the faith to stick it out and wait for him to get to that point where he proved something. So that'll be a great look if it happens. I've just never been a believer that it would. Now, 2 years ago, I was like, he playing better. Okay, I'm liking what I'm seeing, but let me see if this translates to the better competition. It didn't. Last year, he lights out. He's, this team having fun. They rallying around him. Let's see if it translates to later in the season. It didn't. So, he's already shocked me with the early season play, but he got to get over humps and major ones, man. He got to get over major humps. So maybe those guys that believe in him, they end up being right. And that'll be beautiful for our organization. Otherwise, we stuck for 4 more years because they going to give him the money. They give him the money. It is what it is. There ain't no running from that. We don't have one bit of competence to not pay him because you don't have to pay him. I could see if we were in a position right now where you done did a 5th year, you done already franchise tagged twice, and now you ain't got no options. And even then, if you don't know about 7 years, then he ain't the guy anyway. But we ain't in a dire situation. We got a 5th year option and 2 franchise years if we want. And we're not going to use him for a guy that's still questionable. We're not. We're going to do what every other dumb team does. We're going to do what the Giants did with Daniel Jones. We're going to do what everybody else do. We're going to do what they do. But a lot of them just ain't learned their lesson yet. Seattle finally learned their lesson. Minnesota, they didn't learn their lesson. They just couldn't afford to keep on going down the road of stupidity. Their stupidity saved their stupidity. They couldn't afford what he was asking for anymore. So it saved them. They wanted to keep that stupidity going. And Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback, great quarterback at times. But at that cap number, it ain't going to matter. It don't matter how great you are because you cap the team. You put a limit on what they could do around them. So Dolphins going to do it. And it is what it is at this point. It is what it is. All I can do is just hope that I see something different and be shocked and love it and fall in love with it. I'm opening up my heart to fall in love with the future. But again, I mean, I just got to keep waiting. They're going to love me back one day. This team is going to love me back one day. They're going to see all the sacrifices I made. They're going to love me back one day. They're going to propose to me. One day they're going to propose to me. They're going to stop doing me wrong. They're going to stop abusing me and using me. One day. And if I go out sad, it is what it is. Tony said, see how you make excuses for Herbert, who hasn't won a playoff game? I haven't made any excuses for Herbert. Herbert, he's still got things he got to accomplish in this league. But I know from a skill standpoint, I'd rather have him over certain guys. But Herbert's getting paid now. And I personally believe he only got one more. Let me go look at it, by the way. Let me look at it. Justin Herbert. Let me look at it real quick. All right. Herbert has, in my opinion, this year and maybe next year. That's it. After that, if you ain't win a Super Bowl or done something special, at least go to an AFC championship game, then I'm going to be honest with you. If I was a Chargers fan, I'd be like, man, trade this man and go get 4 first-round picks. That's what I would be saying. I'm very consistent because his money is going to like burn in 2026. It's like $46 million in 26, $58 million in 27. I know the salary cap go up, but still. Nope. It's going to burn the team. They don't have an out until 2029. Technically 2027 if they want to eat a little dead cap. But yeah. So if he don't do nothing special this year or next year, I would even be a proponent of hurry up, please. Go get 4 first-round picks. I know he's played well. I know he led the league in passes this year. I know he had a bounce-back year, got back to his good ways, but our window is over. It ain't going to get that much better than this. Only benefit they have right now is they're going to try to go young at receiver and stuff, some of them big contracts. So I ain't making no excuse for Herbert, but he do got a 2 more year window, just like Tua got a 2 more year window this year and next year because he going to get the new deal and they can manipulate the money to push on the back end. Let's get something straight, ladies and gentlemen. Even when I'm beating the table about we need to go draft Michael Penix, I'm not saying the man need to start over Tua. I'm saying have you a backup plan. Because if Tua bum out this year, I'm going to be, man, if you don't like me now, and I find out after this season that we locked in for 3 to 4 more years with this, and he massively failed or regressed, oh, no. I mean, if he was to get hurt, oh, no. Like all of them things. No, if you don't like me now, then listen, it's going to be brutal. But it ain't going to be brutal if you had a backup plan because you locked in with Tua, but at least you have a cheaper option that maybe you go into the first year of his contract and say, we're going to give you one more shot, but if you got a short lease, you mess up, we got to start seeing what we got in the other guy. Nobody's saying replace them all together, not unless you're going to upgrade right away. But that's why I want to draft Michael Penix. Sit behind Tua next year, give Tua his chance to perform. If Tua performs, you ain't paying Mike White that ridiculous money. Now you're paying Michael Penix as a backup and you develop him. Just like Purdy sitting, just like Mahomes sitting behind Alex Smith. That type of deal. And maybe they never take over, but Tua has the reins. The year after that, if he ball out, now you could be looking at, hey, anybody want to trade for Michael Penix? You know, you got an asset. Or you can continue to have a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract that's good enough for Tua go out that you've developed to win some games. We still don't answer the question of what's the backup plan. We still don't get into that. For some reason, we want to neglect that. See, y'all think we just need a backup plan to play a few games that he missed. No, you need a backup plan for the future. If he get hurt in his season, you can't continue with this man. If he plays like trash, you can't continue with this man. But if you lock him down on a contract, at least have a backup so that if he does get hurt, you at least got somebody you're developing that might be able to elevate to the next level to continue. Or if he's playing like trash, at least you got a guy that you can say, let's start to see what we have in him so we can know what our future plans are. Whatever it is. But I ain't all this blind loyalty of him and only him and blah, blah, blah. Like some of the greatest of all time were found this way. Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady highlighting it. And we scared of that? So ain't no excuses for Herbert. I just think he's a better talent than Tua, or than some quarterbacks. Sorry. First slip up. I think he's better talent than some quarterbacks. That don't mean he's had better success. Well, and you can trust me, you could argue that. As a rookie, you see, and in the sophomore, you saw some really great play. And then you got injuries and bad circumstance. See, well, you're using an excuse for Herbert with the circumstance. Well, if you're not going to let me use the excuse for Herbert, then don't argue the excuse for other guys. So if you're saying I'm being inconsistent in that regards, then the latter's being inconsistent. Don't say, well, you use excuses for Herbert about what's around him, but not Tua. But then don't recognize that your argument is the latter, but then you don't want to use that for Herbert. Like I said, Herbert got to go too if he don't do nothing in the next 2 years, because that's the end of the window. He got to go. Yeah, but he's passing leader. He's played great. He finally went to the playoffs. He won one playoff game and then got bounced. TD will still be like, he got to go. You ain't finna do nothing with him. It's going to get harder and harder from this point. Okay, so we trading Tyreek next year. They still won't draft a wide receiver because we need another edge rusher. Oh, don't worry. The future is interesting. The future is interesting for Miami. I think they're going to get an edge rusher in this draft. But the future is interesting. We talk about we need an edge rusher next year. That's a fact. Because you can't keep on with Bradley Chubb after next year. Oh, we need a wide receiver next year. That's a fact. But you forgot we need a left tackle? That who really takes the chance of getting a left tackle outside the first round? Not to say you can't find one, but who takes that chance? So, you got some needs. And if you get ran all up and down this year, you're going to be begging for a defensive tackle next year. Oh, I can't stand all these articles and these people out here trying to sell us on our defensive tackles right now. But don't forget, Zealer's number one now. They just need somebody to compliment him. Zealer's good. I like Zealer. I'm a Zealer fan. But don't be sitting here trying to say he number one and you need a compliment to him. No, stop. You need a match. Zealer's good, but let's not sit here and act like he's been. Y'all, stop. I've always advocated for Zealer, but I advocate for where he is. Really good, solid guy. He can start in this league. But he's the type of player you need him to start with another guy like him at a minimum. And now they're trying to sell us on, no, he's the number one guy now, and he's taking on that superior role, and you could put less next to him. Stop. Stop. We are in for a rude awakening if we think in that way. And everybody's selling it. Everywhere I look, everybody's selling that thought process. And I'm telling y'all, if teams just bludgeoning us in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left and the game right there, they getting in field goal, whatever, I'm going to remind you. And then when we suffering and we sell out for the running, they start hitting us with the quick passes. Don't be getting mad at Fuller. Don't be getting mad at the Kohu. No, I'm telling you, don't be getting mad at them guys. I'm going to remind you where the origin of the issue is. I'll keep saying it. Tua is not the guy. He can't close games, and he is not a playmaker. Will Miami win AFC East? Maybe yes, but Tua can't close big games. He's going to close them this year. Tua's going to close some big games this year. What we don't want to get caught up in, though, I think that he might win some of the big games early in the season this year. That's going to be the next step. But late in the season, it's still going to be an issue. But we're going to be able to point to, but he still beats some quality performers. And then his only issue is going to be late season. Then he would have scratched off every box, because the next box for him is to that 2 to 3 games, maybe 4 or 5 next year that's in the first 12 weeks. Win like 3 out of 5 of those, them tough games. Last year, we only had 3 of them, like week 1 to 12 or something, or 2. And we lost both. No, 3. Eagles, Buffalo, Kansas City. Yeah, it was 0 for 3. This year, looking at our schedule, we're going to at least have 4 to 5. And he needs to win about – he got to win like, I want to say 2, but it's really 3, but that's kind of unfair. 2 out of 4, 3 out of 5. And then that'll be the next step, which is good because it'll help our overall record. But I think he'll still come up short later in the season unless we have weak opponents. But he'll still have made progress because against winning teams, he got a better look. But that's what I think the next step is. And then the year after, he'll, win some of them games later in the season. And we'll go to the playoffs, and in the first round, we'll win our first playoff game. That'll be the first year of his new contract. And then the second year of his new contract, we're probably going to win 7 games. Whole roster going to be stripped by then. We're going to be having a whole bunch of young players that we hopeful for, young talent, learning and making mistakes, but making plays, all that good stuff. Yeah, that's my trajectory of how this thing going to go. Time will tell. Just crushed the numbers on Tua in wins. 257 completions, 361 attempts, 3,283 yards, 21 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, 71% completion, 298.5 yards per game, 38% touchdown to interception rate. Losses. Oh, yeah, I could have just put the graphic up for that, bro. I got all these numbers. Losses, incomplete playoffs, 151 completions, 238 attempts, 1,540 yards, 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 63% completion, 223.5 yards per game, 70% touchdown to interception ratio. Yeah, the numbers alter. They definitely change. So the Bengals should draft QB 2 because Joe hurt too. Uh, why y'all do that sometimes? Like you get like hear my whole take, right? Before you do that. Injuries are not the injuries are not the end all be. It's a factor. Joe Burrow had already proven something in this league. Dude made it to the Super Bowl on his rookie contract. Balled out, somewhat put the team on his back in moments. He got his contract and got hurt again where you could say, oh, this is a concern now. But he already got paid. Our benefit is we already saw Tua only had 1 out of 4 healthy seasons. 1 out of 4. So let me put it like this. Burrow had 2 out of 4 healthy seasons. And in his rookie year when he got hurt, what they saw, they were excited about. Tua got hurt his rookie year. What we saw, we need him to get healthy so we could see what he could be. The 10 games Burrow played his rookie year, they knew what he was. Then his second year, he come back and played 16 games and balled out. Balled out. Third year, 16 games. Balled out. He got paid. So the only time he got hurt was his rookie year for 6 games out of 3 years. Yeah, you better pay him. That's not an injury concern. And in that process, he had playoff success. After he got paid, he got hurt again, and he played 10 games. So it ain't even close to being the same. So, and let me say this too. Everybody that keeps saying Burrow always getting hurt, but y'all don't say nothing. The man got hurt twice out of 4 years. 2 or 3 out of 4. With multiple injuries in between, by the way. And even in his rookie year when he got hurt, at least they saw what they needed to see. And literally balled out 2 years in a row after that. Stop comparing Burrow's injuries to Tua's. It ain't even close. It's not even close. And again, they already paid him. We have the luxury of we ain't pay him yet. Come on, man. Let's be like, come on. Let's be fair about that. I keep hearing that. Burrow just as injury prone. No, he not. Burrow missed 12 games in 2 seasons worth. Y'all gotta stop that mess. Cut that mess out. Anyway, let me see. Any more super chats? Y'all got me all behind. Burrow has missed more games than Tua. Stop capping in 2 seasons. Let me ask y'all a question. This is why contact, y'all got to understand, like make things make sense. Burrow can miss a whole season, right? And then he could play 3 seasons fully. That's 17 games. If Tua takes those same 4 seasons And he missed 4 games in every one, 16 games. We're going to sit here and cry about Burrow missed more games than Tua. Every year the man missed games. And we sit it like y'all got to stop. Like, why? And that was an analogy. That's not the reality. But what I'm saying is that's kind of how it is. Tua's been impacted 3 seasons out of 4. Burrow only 2. And in those 2, he gave him everything. Balled out, showed him what he had. Tua only got 1 healthy season and still crumbled like a cookie at the end. Come on, man. Let's be fair. I know y'all want to down other quarterbacks to uplift ours. It ain't necessary. What's green and rhymes with vets? What? It's a Jets fan? Oh, Lord. Y'all stop. Anyway, man, I got to get out of here. I'm going to go out here, check on the baby and the wife, because I got the huddle at 3 o'clock on BetUS TV. Y'all come through to BetUS TV. Check us out at 3 p.m. Me, Richie, and Dan. We got some good stuff for y'all today, plus some mock action. But yeah. And again, this conversation we had today was not to down anybody or talk bad about anybody, because for the record, I'm all good with, our quarterback being our quarterback for the next few years. I just beg that if we go down this road, that we have a backup plan sitting behind him, one that you don't know about, one that you want to develop and hope that you might have a future with if things go wrong. That's all I've ever advocated for. Because I already know that they're going to go down this road. So ain't no need to cry about that. It is what it is. I don't complain about why are we. They're going to do it. So since you're going to do it, can we just have some insurance? That's all I'm advocating for. Please, just get us some insurance. Get us, that's all. That's all. I want to still have hope if things go south. Because what are we going to have if they do go south, ladies and gentlemen? What are we going to have? What truly are we going to have if things go south? We don't want to be the responsible adults and think about that and suggest what needs to happen in that event. Instead, we want to be immature about the situation and say, I don't care if it goes south. I just don't believe it's going to happen. So, I'm going to blindly go into this situation knowing that no injury will happen, no bad play will happen, no crumbling in December will happen. Nothing, it'll all be perfect this time. Like it was going to be his rookie year, like it was going to be the sophomore year, like it was going to be the junior year, like it was going to be the senior year. Now we supposed to be in college with this thing, and I don't even know how we graduated high school. But we about to start college. Yeah. Love y'all. Appreciate you guys. We had 750 people rocking with us. We got over almost 500 on Twitter, almost 300 on YouTube. We got Twitch viewers. Salute to everybody who's tuning in. I got to get back into this film. I want to keep going over the film. I think we left off at think we're somewhere around y'all got to remind me. I think we got to do the Ravens game or something like that. But we got to continue the film going backwards. So I'm going to be getting back into that. Tonight we got the AFC's roundtable. Don't forget about that, but we're going to start getting back into the film moving forward. All right. The huddle is next, 3 p.m. in about 25 minutes. Y'all come over, join the show every day, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Salute to you all. God bless. I love y'all. I'll see you soon. Peace. I'm out.